On the road for 5 games and 12 nights. We had early success in the first game in Montreal, but at back-to-backs, not meeting success. The road trip starts to drag out.
I would imagine that even for the players to sleep in their own beds, to see familiar things and have the meals and their familiar regimen, that's got to be huge too.
I got off the plane at 2 o'clock in the morning and my dog met me at the door, and my bed was shortly thereafter, and just to have the comforts of home and have the familiarity the surrounding your family and friends, and heading into Climate Pledge Arena, the familiarity surrounding the fans going to be there. It's energizing. It's comforting to get back home. It's energizing to get back to the things that you know and like the best, and we're going to get to do it now for a stretch here at home.
All right, in such a long season, a lot of teams have a lot of success on the road, some don't. What makes it so difficult to win on the road?
I think it's a daunting, you're going into some difficult buildings, you're going into some difficult places. It presents a kind of a hunker down, dig in mentality from your team, and you can use that to your advantage and play a hard, honest, competitive road game to try to sneak out some wins. But that's kind of the mentality when you go on the road. Is it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a slog. It's going to be in some tough places, and you got to hunker down as a team and come together as a team and dig out success on the road.
But one of the things that impresses you as a coach is the fact that the other team is going to score goals. It's how that your team reacts to scoring those goals, because you're not out of it. They just scored a goal. It's part of the game. It's
accented on the road when you make a mistake or the other team scores a goal. They get momentum. The fans are behind them. It's, you talk about tough places to play. You're talking about the fans being loud and rambunctious, and you're dealing with them screaming down your back. That's a part of playing on the road too. You gotta deal with the massive momentum shifts, and you have to deal with the energy of the crowd, which is so great about Climate Pledge Arena. Is we got to use that, our fans, and how great they are, to our advantage when we get teams in our building.
All right, so I'll take you back to maybe your playing days. All the years you've been coaching. Is there an arena or a city that's very difficult or somewhat intimidating to play in?
I think there's some aura and some in Montreal. The Ghosts of Montreal, the Forum, are difficult to play in. You go in there and you're in awe of the history. You're in awe of the building. You're in awe of the Montreal Canadiens. So going in there was one. Chicago Stadium for me was you always look forward to playing there, but when the anthem goes and the place is in an uproar and this place is shaking, is like, whoa, this is as a coach, we've had a few, as playoffs are exponentially this way, but the fans in Montreal, you're talking about a place that you cannot hear each other talk, think. You can't communicate on the bench because the crowd is so loud. Washington was that way in '09, playing against them in the playoffs. The place is so loud that they rocked the red in the third period, and the place was just shaking and so loud. They just made them tough buildings to play in. It's
interesting to hear you reel off a few. There's not just one for you. There's several places that you'd rather not play in.
Well, you want to play in them because that means you're in it's significant games, and but it is amazing the effect that those buildings, the atmosphere, and the crowd can have on a effect of a game.